What's going on? Wow, the sun's right in my eyes. It's crazy too. So I wanted to talk about my updated, documented 7-day, which is actually 9, because I went to go look at my last video, which, if you're interested, that's basically when I started. Was on October 2nd, and it's the 14th now, so that would be 12 days. But on the 4th day or 2 days after I said that, I said fuck it and did it anyway, masturbated, and I fucked up right there, so that killed that streak. But other than that, so it's been about 10 days now, I think, and said I was gonna give my update experience, and said I did mess up if it mattered 2 days after I said that, which I said was on October 2nd, and you can just go on my page and look for it if you really want to know. So it's like about 10 days, and I'm just gonna give my experience. And no, this is documented. I've probably gone way longer, but I'm in a different segment of my life now, and witnessing and trying new things, and just also paying attention and being more aware, and a lot has changed. Yeah, so I guess the first thing, well, it may not be the most biggest thing, but I have, I don't know, more energy. But they say, you know, sex is your life force, which I agree with, because you can create a whole nother human being with that. And I don't know, it's very powerful, but it's also something super, super subtle. So it's just really subtle. So saving that energy might contribute that. Obviously, it's only been a little bit for my awareness, and I wouldn't say it was the biggest thing, like I said. So that would be number one, and this is no order. I'll say which one I felt the strongest, which is kind of more just mental, I guess. Number two, I guess, would be creativityness, and that just goes for itself, really. Yeah, I don't really have too many examples of that. Just wanting to do more. But also, I don't want to solely base it on that either, and I can't really. But that's just something to take note of, or be aware. 3, and this is all subject to personal opinion, and everyone else can be a little bit different on any of these. 3 would be more confidence, but I'm a pretty confident person all around, so like I said, even that's hard to pinpoint. Yeah, I have more confidence, and those are like the 3 main ones. I'm gonna get into these other ones, but these other ones are kind of more, I understand the nofap and the semen retention, but now I'm gonna get into these other ones. Not masturbating's fine, and I think you should do that, and because when you do it, like, you know, you should. It just, when you're with a woman, it's a different, or whatever, vice versa. You know, there's like a simulation going on there, or stimulation, and there's just a connection, there's electricity, there's energy, there's involvement in there. Usually the process is slow. That's the way I like it. And not a rush, and it's more romantic, sacred, divine, loving, fulfilling. So even though you're doing nofap or something like that, I mean, if you're sustaining the sex from a woman because you want to, that's fine, but I don't think you should disregard the body from that. I mean, if you want to have sex with someone, that's fine. Like, so I'll say yes to sex, but no to masturbation, basically. But again, it's your world and your rules, so you do what you want. I personally don't think, and who knows? It's all about if you want sex or not with the right person, that is, someone you actually really enjoy and having a fun time and not nervous about or anxious, and just real romantic, sacred, and divine. Simple as that. And that's something to take note, because what I'm about to explore is, you know, when you do masturbate or whatever, I feel like, you know, I'm like a slave to myself. I abuse myself. I do feel like tired after, or a waste of energy. It's like an adrenaline rush, basically, and that's why, like, if you're trying to recover, if you have something like adrenal fatigue, or just like a weakened immune system, basically, but just some super weak health, if you don't have discipline, you know, then you shouldn't masturbate and waste that, and maybe not have sex as much. Again, this is going to be on your individuality. If you're trying to earn some discipline, have some respect for yourself, and feel good, then don't masturbate. Have sex, don't masturbate. I think that's something we can take away for sure. Unless you want to abstain for sex, I think sex is definitely a plus. It's like cherishable, memorable, fun, exciting. You know, I don't think you should limit yourself in that one, unless you want to. So you can gain some discipline from this, better control of your emotions, mental stability, go hand in hand. You know, like I said, I feel like a slave if I do it to myself. I just feel like beating myself. And maybe adrenaline rush and a lost energy. Just a repetition of what I said. So, and I think having sex with women, or, you know, vice versa, whatever the sex gender, that's fine. But I think, you know, what's the reason you're doing it? You got to look at that. Is it draining you? That's another thing to look at. So I think masturbation should be cut out completely. I mean, if you want to, go ahead. But, you know, wouldn't you rather spend that with the opposite sex? I just feel like it's not a waste of energy. Maybe you could say that, masturbating, or when you do. But, you know, you just rather spend it with someone else. So that's basically it. On that note, was it hard? Not really, not at all. Actually pretty easy. Now, if someone was trying to like seduce me, or if I had a lot of energy, which I don't, but if someone's trying to seduce me or something, I don't know. I mean, easily for me to resist, yeah, but if I really wanted to freaking have sex, I just don't feel myself anyway. So on the sex thing, it's just kind of like blah, because I don't feel myself anyway. I just don't feel like I have a lot of energy. So it's hard to tell, because if I do have a lot of energy, which probably be coming soon, and I'll keep the updates, so follow along, then it might be a whole different scenario, you know what I mean? Yeah, and then if you don't masturbate, you'll be in more control. You'll want to do other things. I just feel like sometimes it was pointless. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. But I haven't done it at all recently. And was it hard? No, I kind of just like pushed it to the side. I mean, it was actually good to feel that, because I feel like there's some strength in you. Now, no, this is when it comes to masturbation, even though semen retention at this point, sex, I still do agree with, definitely, as much as you want to, really. But looking at the reasons and the motives behind it, compared to the masturbation, like I said, no. And yeah, when I haven't really even wanted to do it. I think if you're enjoying life, and especially if you're distracted, And that's not in a bad way, but just doing something you enjoy or whatever, and you're distracted, you won't have those dirty thoughts. And you won't want to masturbate, and you just push it to the side, because even when you do get horny or have a boner, it's only for like a couple seconds or minutes per se, but then it goes away. So if you can just get over that hump, then it's gone. But if you give it attention and focus, and you keep thinking about it in your mind, or seeing girls in your mind, or images like on Instagram, or maybe somehow you got in some porn and you're watching it, a stimulation, or just seeing, being around women, yeah, like that can, be a trigger too. But don't give it mind, don't give it a pay attention. Just recognize the thought and the focus. But especially on images, because I just know when I would see images on just any image, picture, it's completely different from a reality perspective, because I don't, it just seems to glorify, there's an allure to something when you see it through a picture or a phone, an image. It just makes it so much spectacular. And it just is. So don't get away from that, or don't give it no mind. People on Instagram posing, models, yeah, that's gonna make you horny and make you give in too. So don't pay attention to that. Whereas the reality, not the same. You know what I mean? It's just not the same. And then everyone having clothes, which makes you hornier too if you see someone more bare naked, because if we're all naked most of the time, then we wouldn't get aroused to seeing naked women. Not to say that's a bad thing, it's completely good and there's nothing wrong with it, but we wouldn't be, seductive to the entertainment in the industry of them like forcing it upon us, especially younger people, young children. And it wouldn't be like, not a big thing, but I don't mean that in a neutral way. It just wouldn't be, if we seen more naked women all the time, or whatever, the other sex, it wouldn't be a big deal, you know what I mean? Take that with a grain of salt. Also, what I wanted to say is, yeah, I did get horny a couple times, or maybe so a boner, but even though I didn't even have energy, I'm just not even up for it anyway, so that's probably a plus in my book, and probably telling me something, and intentionally I didn't vibrate those words how I wanted to, but with the explanation. So it's been quite easy for me, to be honest, and I see it being easy. Yeah, I did get boners a couple times, and there's couple times I just wanted to fucking bang anybody, even though I didn't even have the energy necessarily, because when you don't have the energy, it's definitely, if you don't want to do anything, but it doesn't even feel right. So yeah, I'm out of the body anyway. And what I did in those experiences, I just kind of entertained. And most of those experiences were just, I wasn't looking at a screen. Those were actually in reality experiences with people or by myself. And I didn't tame the thought, basically. I was the conductor. I was the master. And I didn't do nothing. I just didn't react, you know what I mean? I maybe gave it a thought, and that was it. Pondered about it, but didn't think excessively. Plus, like I said, I don't have that much energy right now, and I'm not giving it too much. So it was pretty easy and pretty simple. So those are some tips. Leave your experience below. I mean, people like these videos, well, this topic necessarily. So yeah, and it's been, I'll probably do one every week. Fuck it. People like it, and I guess it is somewhat interesting, and I like it. Yeah, so let me know about your experience. Sub to the channel. Thanks for tuning in.